biggest thing I think that I hope people learn when they come to the show and that they take with them is to step into other people's shoes. Before hating, before judging, just take a second to think about where their journey is and what they may have gone through, even when it's not your responsibility to, you know. If someone is being racist to me, it's not necessarily my responsibility to teach them about the hundreds of years of racism that come before it. If I have the energy to do so, I should try to approach that with compassion. The same way that I would hope that someone would approach me with compassion if they see me walking down the street with a hoodie on listening to my music, or if they see me driving in my car with hip hop blasting from the windows, just driving on the street, or if they see me just sitting down existing as a Black person. See things from other people's perspective before you judge. Because the minute we begin to do that, I think we'll be starting to take steps to get towards a better place for society, you know.
Jean Louise, when we first meet her, is obviously in search of something. She needs to find Scout again. She needs to find the person who had clarity about right and wrong, and she needs to find the person who had the voice to speak up, to not be part of the silent majority, and I think that's what she's in search of in these moments. It's so powerful to me that almost daily there's a news story or a podcast or a headline that I can relate immediately to this production. Racial inequality and racism in general is thriving in our world, and I think it's everybody's responsibility to stand up, to speak out, to not be a part of the silent majority anymore, but to find that courage to call out racism and inequality when they see it happening, and to be kind to people, and to, again, just remind everybody that we're all created equal. We're human beings.
I think hate and prejudice can infect people. Anytime anyone, an adult or children, can talk about racism, if they can talk about racial injustice, that is a step in the right direction, if they can confront it. I think that one of the ways that we don't move forward is by ignoring it, or by supporting it, or by silencing it, or by protecting children from it. But I think that one of the things that happens in this play after the guilty verdict happens, and when Miss Monty is speaking with the children, with Scout and Dill and Jem, and she talks about we're making a step, and it's just a baby step, but it's a step. That it's maybe not a lot has changed, but what they're actually doing is thinking about and considering the world that they live in. I think that we always forget how smart kids are, but we have to give them an opportunity to change the world, and we have to give them an opportunity to look at the world head on. And they have to stop the cycle of hate, and they have to stop the cycle of racism and the ideology of hate. And so that's, you know, they're our only hope, really.
None of this would grab us in the same way the play does if it wasn't told through largely the lens of children. To think that we as human beings, as adult human beings, don't have the answers is willful delusion. And kids actually recognize that. The conversations I have with my girls is the same thing. The questions they ask about racism are as plain as the nose in your face. I know there is more nuance. I know it's complicated, and history is a part of that, and we inherit things. But even still, kids are right. They mostly go, what are you doing? That is a subject that is as timeless as ever, as relevant as ever, and we certainly have not figured that out. We really have not figured that one out. How do we actually make a world where the children won't have to cry at the injustice that they see perpetrated largely by the adult world? I think what Atticus has to teach us is that it may scare you, but you have to take a stand. You may know that things were at risk, be it yourself or those things you love, but you have to take a risk because it's too important not to.